Yesterday I watched it on YouTube. Now I know it's a fact.
Okay, hopefully we can get this done in one take. It's school holidays and I've got a cat in the room who keeps snoring at me. He's on steroids at the moment and the bugger's just sleeping it off. Okay. I thought we'd do one news item at a time. That turned into there was just too much news. That turned into I was covering way too much and extending the videos out too long. So this is my fourth attempt at getting this right. And what I'm going to do is single out news items that are related to one another and work around those. So you might get 2 or 3 news items. But today I'm going to kick off with Australia Post, who thankfully have bought us something really nice. Where is it? Here we go. The Principles of Equal Pay, 50 Years. Now this is a book of stamps available at our post office, as you can see. And I've got no problem with the equal pay laws. I mean, great, excellent. Everyone should get paid the same for working the same. My problem comes with where the post office goes with this. While the principles of equal pay for equal work has been enshrined in legislation for 50 years, in 2019, women are still fighting for equal pay for work of equal value. The gender pay gap currently sits at 14.6%. Traditional female roles, such as in childcare, still attract lower rates of pay, and in many industries, discrimination still exists against women's appointment to senior and managerial positions. This is pure and utter feminist tripe. It has nothing at all to do with reality. Reality is more like this. This is the census 2016, which this information was only issued quite recently. The census takes a little while to work through the data. But this is what the census reported. For every age across the board, women worked considerably less hours than men in all areas. Now, yes, I agree. This is because of children and so forth, for choosing to work part-time, not full-time, or shorter hours. But that's a personal choice, isn't it? I myself am an at-home father. I'm supported by my partners who go to work. I made that choice to earn less, to be here, to keep the house, to pay the bills, to raise the children, so that those concerns would be lifted from my partner's shoulders. In the meanwhile, I started a business because I can't iron and do daytime television like my mother did. But my partners support that decision financially. And I'm very thankful for their contribution, and they tell me they're thankful for mine. That's how it's meant to work. It doesn't matter, man or woman staying at home. That's how it's meant to work when you choose to do this. You don't then get to moan you're not getting paid enough. Now, if you have a certificate 3 in childcare and you're working at a daycare centre, I don't really care much for the fact you get paid less than I might have in my trade with a technically what is a certificate 4, but with trade experience in instrumentation, working in industrial environments. I've had my boots melt from underneath me standing on the top of furnaces. I've had to put cold thermocouples into heated cyanide vats to test the thermocouples were working in the vats. You can't compare what you do to what I do for hourly rate, or what I used to do before I became an at-home parent. So don't even start working on the fact that you want to work your pussy little jobs and make that about the fact that I make more money, because I didn't choose a pussy job. All right. I'm going to leave that alone. I'm sure you will get the idea that I am very unhappy with Australia Post having not so much produced these stamps, but totally gone with the feminist rhetoric that women get paid 14.6% less and that it's not through their own choices. I also don't agree that they're not getting the managerial jobs, because they were also not getting the jobs working with cyanide vats and melting their boots on furnaces. There's no women in my trade that I know of. You decide. Whose problem is that? Nobody's stopping women from doing what I did. It's not exactly heavy lifting work. The heavy lifting was no more than 40 kilos at a time. An old Honeywell Class 15 chart recorders weigh 40 kilos, I'll tell you that for now. But it is dangerous work, right? You don't want those jobs. You want to be the CEO. That's where you want to make all your money. You all want to be the CEO. Or men make more money than you because men are also willing to do the dirty jobs. Get stuffed. Talking of getting stuffed, let's move on to BBC Three, as we're following this topic, and let's see. Men are clearly witches. I'll have to mute that in my own ear roll. They said it was a witch hunt. Actor calls Me Too movement a witch hunt. Well, I don't disagree. I don't know that BBC Three disagree, because they won't address this comment at all. They just won't. Watch the video with me. Not once will they address the accusation that Me Too is a witch hunt. They will not point out how many men have not been falsely accused, whether or not you need criminal convictions or arrest records to post anything under the hashtag Me Too. Nothing. They do nothing. They're not willing to. They are going to just call men witches. Anyway, let's carry on. Something strange going on. They were right. Men are witches. You think men are witches? Shh. Men don't follow any sort of biological clock, and they can have babies into their 80s. So the first thing men do wrong, mine, do you think this is related to Me Too being a witch hunt? Or do you think it's just to us being biologically different from women? Is that really a problem? They can walk down the street and not get catcalled, like they're invisible. I'm not one of the top 1% of men who will get catcalled, but I've been catcalled. In my younger years, when I wasn't such an old grey fart, and trust me, that hasn't exactly not paid off, being old and grey and looking like I do. But men get catcalled. It's just that when men do it, they're less fussed about who they do it to. A quite average-looking woman will attract a man's attention. But women are fussier. They want to know a man has money. They want to know he's handsome. Then you won't get him to stay away from you. I mean, I've had stalkers. Women, when they stalk you, they attach themselves and they don't give up. It only costs them like £12 to get their hair cut. Now here's their examples. We'll let this pan in. Here we go. Here's the guy who's basically had the side of his head shaved and a bit off the top. This looks like a natural curl. £12. It's walk in, walk out. This is styled, heavily styled, and it looks to be coloured. Now, I'm a man with long hair, and prior to 20 odd years ago when I just stopped cutting it at all, I used to do that with my hair. It takes time. I never coloured my hair, so that takes less time. But I can tell you now, you don't get hair that looks like that. Now, my hair hung down to my ass. You don't get hair that looks like that without it being feathered and thinned and layered. And that takes work. You don't just walk in and get that done. And then the guy will go, okay, that looks fine, I'm out of here. The woman, excuse me, she'll say, can you take a little bit more off, please? A little bit more off the length. I'd just like a little bit more curl in the bottom. And you're working on it again. It's not just working on it once. Quite often, and I've sat in a hairdresser with enough women to know once isn't enough. Quite often, you're cutting 2 to 3 times. There's a very big difference between these two. They wee to stand up, they're never cold. So our biological differences are a problem again. We're still not addressing anything to do with Me Too here, are we? I'd like to point out, however, that this woman's hairstyle didn't just come off a rack. And this woman's hairstyle is extremely well dressed. That took time. Every time they have sex, they finish. Not in my experience. Some men have trouble getting it up. Some men have trouble getting there. Some men are able to hold off and keep going for a long time. And some men just lose it all over the place. Men vary. But the men who can successfully finish every time, they've worked out what it takes to finish. They've worked out how it feels to get that right, to get that sensation, to get that to happen. What you're asking is that they turn their attention to you and work out what you find feels good. You're not saying you want to take any part in events. You don't think it's your responsibility to know what feels good for you and to try and achieve that. That's just lazy. What you're saying is, I want to be lazy in bed. I want to lay like a dead fish and someone's going to get me off. Well, fuck you. Dead fish are no fun to fuck. Okay. And I don't mean dead ocean-going fish. I mean you. I mean you, the woman who lays on her back and expects a man to do everything for her. You're a dead fish, and I've fucked a couple of them and they're no fun. Okay. So the fact that we... Oh, hang on. We will step back on that one just a tad. Because this is the facial expressions of 3 women who have never put the effort into working out how to have sex, good sex, for themselves. These are women who expect other people to do it for them. Okay, so what's the solution? They've met their match. Fluffy flowing hair is one of the cures. And costumes. Fluffy flowing hair and costumes. Makeup. Weapons. BBC 3 has just told women that weapons are acceptable. Now, I'm not scared of this weapon. Even if you'd sharpened all your keys, there's a better than fair chance you're going to give me some nasty scratches, but you're going to break your fingers trying to do it. I'm not worried about that, because the minute you even look like you're going to hit me with that, I'm going to be ready. And when you do hit me with that, you will go down. And it won't be me who feels the pain of that. It'll be your broken hand and your broken nose. Trust me, I'm not walking away heavily scathed from that attack. But thank you, BBC 3, for inciting violence and making a violent reaction a necessary part of the solution to what you've proposed. I've never hit a woman in my life. The nearest I came once I swung my arm back on my wife. She'd pinched me so hard she left me with a bruise for almost 3 weeks. And I swung my arm back, and it wasn't quite a hit. It was a more of a heavy slap that pushed her off, and it was all reflex. None of it was deliberate. So, I wouldn't normally hit a woman, but you came at me with that handful of keys, and all I see coming at me is a weapon. Do BBC Three stop here? No, they propose this. A pitchfork to the neck. That's the second incitement to use a weapon against a man. Now, let's try and find out what this man's crime was. What did he do wrong? Why is there never a queue for the male toilet? Is it something to do with us being able to stand shoulder to shoulder, take a piss, not look at each other, and get the fuck out of there? Is it? Right? We go in, we do our business, wash our hands, bugger off. What do? You walk in, probably check yourself in the mirror first, but if you don't, you walk in the stall. A stall with your own little seat that's walled from the person next to you, taking 4 times the amount of room that you would take normally if you were sitting ass cheek to ass cheek. Then you pull your pants down, you have do your business, you have to have some toilet paper to give it a bit of a wipe. You pull your pants back up, you straighten yourself up, because you don't want to walk out of that stall not looking straight. You go over to the mirror, you wash your hands, then you straighten your hair and your face, and then you go out. Now, when you're prepared to sit ass cheek to ass cheek and not fucking straighten yourself in the mirror before you leave, tell me why the women's toilets are always got a queue. It's bloody stupid. But they put a pitchfork to his throat to ask that question. Now, apparently he represents men. He's the CEO of a Fortune 500 company. That's what they're proposing. And apparently he represents men. We're all just CEOs of Fortune 500 companies. It's what women are what these women and what feminist women in general seem to propose, is that all women be CEOs of Fortune 500s. I'm just wondering who's going to do the work. The men, I guess. But at this point, he represents men. He's the CEO of a Fortune 500 company. And by telling you that, he's casting spells that are attractive to 20 women in their 20s. Now, I'm not sure how that's a problem. If women in their 20s are attracted to wealth and silver-haired, aging but handsome enough guys, are these women jealous of that? Is nobody asking them? Really? What's the problem? How is it not the women's choice, by the way? And here we go. Here's the older woman. Let's for the sake of argument, because in today's Western society, you're not going to find too many virgins at her age. The used goods. Here's the used goods. She's just spotted wealth and a reasonably handsome silver-haired guy, and she's willing to throw herself at him. Now, of course he doesn't want her. She's used goods. If the 20-year-old's going to come his way, he's going to take her. And apart from the biological norms of attraction, we men do tend to be more attracted to younger women. And that's probably because women, as noted earlier in this video, have a biological clock. So younger women are more likely to produce. Now, this is just biological realities. I personally don't give a damn for the age of women. I find women across the ages attractive. This woman is attractive. But in this comparison between a woman in her 20s and herself, she's used goods and thrown herself at him. That's the fact he puts up a little smirk, I don't mind. Half his fucking luck. Third cure. Drown him. BBC have just instigated, just put forward the idea that we should key men, we should put pitchforks to their throats, and we should drown them. That's it. That's BBC Three's solutions to not answering the question of whether or not Me Too is in fact a witch hunt. Instead, they've brushed off the whole topic and made this video about attacking men. Now, the reason I attached this to the post office claims is here's the BBC still making this claim that men get paid 20% more than women. I don't know what country these people live in. I assumed, being the BBC, they were in the UK. In Australia, or if you're in America or Canada or most first world countries, we already have gender equality bills. In fact, we have equality bills that just allow everybody doing the same work to be paid the same money. In Australia, notably, it's been men suing companies for being paid less than women. So I don't see this being the point. As I noted earlier, there are other reasons. There is, for instance, if you want more money, work more hours. It's that bloody simple. Okay, I can hear a 4-year-old starting up in the background, so I'm going to call it quits at that point. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I'll be knocking up another one later today, I suspect, because I've got a lot of material sitting on the desk. I'm the Anti-Theocrat. May gods remain fictional. I'll see you in the next one.